Right, here we go guys. Just working on these Pox Eclipse Blasters. Poured some gel super glue into those holes, top and bottom, filled it with some of that epoxy putty and sanded it with wet and dry. So the buttstock for the strife is ready to paint. So I'll put it with everything else. Got the barrel. You might recognise this. This is the butt off the last one, this one over here. When I put it on, it actually split at the end, so I've cut it short and I'm going to use it on the strife. It looks good, and I'll print one for the other one later. Right. And here we have the strife. I've put the full auto kit in it and got it working. It's a good kit, I guess, but for a newbie to me, things that they've done, like they give you 3 of these micro switches, but according to the instructions you only use 2 of them, and that didn't work. And I've since found out that these instructions apparently have an error in them that they haven't corrected, so they're useless. But what I did, I followed Make Test Battles online YouTube instructions about wiring up a rapid strike, and here's my diagram I copied off their web movie. And one of the things they say to do, instead of trying to attach 3 lines to the normally closed to go up to the power and the motor, you do 2 up to the power and then 1 across. And when I was doing that, pull the rev trigger, the flywheels would start, pull the trigger, the pusher would start, but the flywheels will stop. I'd actually attached that wire to the wrong outlet. Just by changing that 1 wire, the thing works. Flywheel start, pusher works. So, brilliant, happy about that. However, the problem is, I took so much time putting the wiring in and chopping and changing things, it's an absolute mess in there, and my solder joints are pretty appalling. Most of the wires are like this, joins and rejoins and lumps of solder. So what I've done, I've bought some more wire and I'm going to pull the innards out, and while I'm painting the outside and getting that done, I'm going to use the spare time to redo the inners. If you're doing any sort of soldering anything, one of these is extremely useful. That's part of the reason why these joins I did are absolutely crap, because I was trying to use 2 hands to do 3 things. So I bought one of these at my local electronics store where I got the wire, $10, and I'm sure it'll be very, very, very useful. Pretty basic quality, but that's all you need just to hold things in place. And I'll just clamp it to the table and get on with this. Alright guys, here we go. The fun reveal of the strife. The backstory behind this one is that it's an ex-police weapon. It's from a SWAT team. It's been collected from some bad guys, and they use it now. Just get all this salt. It's going to be really, 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 really heavily worn. And of course I have taken the electronics out. So the pistol grip's got to go black or dark grey, part of the buttstock, and then some metallic bits in here I'll paint black and dry brush up with silver. So it's just a strife body. I got downloaded a heel piece from Thingiverse. Sorry, I can't remember who did it. It was a bit too wide, so I had to narrow it. It's a bit better. That's one of my hand foregrip of my own design. That's just a piece of PVC pipe which just happens to be a perfect friction fit onto the muzzle. It's really tight, so it's not going to come off. And that's about it. It's pretty much stock. There's our ex-SWAT strife ready to go. Right, so unwrapping the strife. I've masked this off and painted the pistol grip. Just hoping I don't take off too much of this top coat with this tape. Seems alright so far. There we go. It's not too bad. So it's just taken off huge amounts of the paint along there. Obviously I didn't get any roughness there when I was scraping. So what I'll do is simply dab touch it with silver, just to be another worn area. What I'm going to do is, the new owner with the macabre sense of humour bad guys have is going to write, add T-E-R, swatter. So I'll find some enamel paint and put a T-E-R there, and we can get going, get this assembled. Now, somewhere here, yeah, if you live, here's one of the drawbacks with this clay resist and salt. If you live in a damp area like I do, Western Australia, in the winter, when it's been raining for 3 weeks and the air's almost thick enough to drown in, when you put the salt on, you'll actually get water drawn out of the air that forms drops on the surface. The bigger ones are water drops, the little ones are the specks of salt. You can see it really bad there. And it's okay, except when you get things like that where it all joins together, it doesn't look realistic enough. So, but since these are only magazines, I'm not going to worry about it that much. But you do have to be aware of that, because there is a painting effect called water drop, where you sprinkle water drops on it and you spray it from different angles and then dry the water drops off after it's dry, and you get a nice effect. This is not that. This is just because there's so much moisture in the air, the salt is just ripping moisture out of the air, and you'll pick up pieces like, actually I've got one here. This is a big mag. You can see the water on the surface of that. That is not from this sink. It's just been sitting on my painting desk, and it's just pulled water out of the air because of the salt there. So just another thing you have to be aware of. The only reason I use the clay and the salt is simply because the latex mask is, one, very expensive, and two, it's a pain to get off. It's quite a lot of work. So this system, the water just, yeah, this system, it's easy. You just chuck it in, break the surface, the clay's exposed, wet it, clay turns to liquid again and just goes away. But the good thing is, enamel paint is pretty tough, so it can take this sort of abuse. You can see there, that's all clay coming off. Rinse it off, gone. And you've just got the effect left over. So, there's all the magazines for the stripe, and there's all the magazines for the sling fire. Now I've done 6-round magazines for the sling fire simply because from everything I've read about it and people using it, the lever action is pretty harsh on the knuckles. So I figure if they fire 6 rounds, then they get a rest while they're changing magazines and everything, instead of giving them a 10 or 18 or 12 round. You don't want them constantly doing something and, you know, getting pissed off with the weapon hurting them. So, okay, so what I've got here, there's the cheek rest. I've squashed down this side of the adhesive foam, and I've stuck it under the little lip there I've made. I've only pulled a little bit of the glue backing paper off. I'm going to leave the rest on. And so what I'm going to do now is get this tape and go with the bend I want it to hold, and just tape the foam down until it gets used to being in that shape. Leave it there for 2 or 3 days, and that'll make attaching the rest of it a lot easier. I just added this stripe of colour to these blasters just to make them match the colour on the stripe. And also, before I painted it on, I went over any rust spots or silver with the clay, so I could match the wear and tear. So there we go. 3 of them. I'll go with the strife, and nobody can get confused which weapon they belong to, so there'll be no arguments. Alright guys, there's something fun about unboxing videos, isn't there? And I've got an even better one. I've got an unbagging and an unboxing video. I finally got my sling fire upgrade kit. So this is going to be fun. Rainbow, take note. Not like the way they waterproof it. Worker! Not as big as I was expecting. I just hope it looks good. So what have we got? Bubble wrap. No instructions. Ooh, this is looking good already. Haven't even unwrapped it. Whoa! Oh, that's nice. That is nice. What is it? Apparently it's the Stalker DG kit. Okay. Right. Wow, they must have some pretty industrial strength printers. Detail's a little bit soft in a couple of areas, but otherwise I am impressive. Oh, that's nice. Didn't even notice that. Oh, even little screws and stuff to put it together, but no instructions. Well, that's a bit off. I'm assuming they've got it online, which would be nice. Or it's inside here somewhere. Malang 3D Stalker HM Up L. Okay. Right, so that's where it's so. This goes into sling fire. So I will start putting this together, trying to work out how it all goes together. Nice barrel, nice fake barrel. So I'm assuming those two bits go something like that along the top, because that is definitely the shell ejection, where you get access to the shell ejection. So I'm assuming most of these little screws just go straight through the top, holding the thing down. Let's see, what have we got here? That's there, and that's there. Right, so that hole lines up with that hole lines up with that hole. Right, okay. So, actually this goes on the front, doesn't it? Something like that, not quite sure. Oh, there's 2 holes there and there's 2 holes there. Okay, so that goes like that. That strikes me as a little bit odd, that sharp tip there. I might grind that one off because it's facing back where your hand could hit it. I've already got a hand grip I printed for when I was going to do the front end myself. Let's see if it fits this. No, it's a little bit off, but that's an easy fix. I'll just copy this profile and put it on there, just to make it just a bit more different. That won't be a big thing. I think this goes down the back here somewhere, because there's not even a photo of the kit. Made in China, yeah, okay. Yeah, so no instructions about how to... instructions! No instructions. Just a flyer. Single sheet, double-sided flyer. Doesn't really help me, but it shouldn't be that hard. Okay. Alright. Well, good. So let's get this on the raw gun as it is and see what it's like. So what we have here is the kit, and I'll try to zoom in. Now the forward end of the kit looks like one piece, but it's actually 2 pieces. The front telescopes over this, and the only way you can get this is straight down and then this has to slide over it and mesh with the body. No, missed it. There we go. Perfect. It looks like I've got to put this on before I slide the body over. The front body, I should say. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it looks like even then, still got to put this front screw in before I slide the front of the kit on. Very cleverly thought out this. There we go. So that bit obviously goes there. That they've even included a couple of grub screws, and in the kit did I see, yes, a Allen key to put them in. The thing is, I haven't got any instructions, so I'm not going to start putting things in willy-nilly. I'm just going to put the screws back together, hold the body back together, and take it from there.